Hey guys, this is Bob from Totally Unique Life. And if you have a hamster and have a metal cage, you probably have had a problem with bar biting in the past. I have just a little bit over a year-old female Syrian hamster, and she's in there right now sleeping in her nest. I had a problem with her biting the metal rungs of the cage of this Preview 528. So I looked into various solutions that there were on the internet, and I really didn't find anything which I liked. One of the suggestions was to cover the metal rungs of the cage with lemon juice. Another one was to do the same thing with olive oil. And to be honest, I don't want my hamster ingesting anything which may harm her. Lemon juice is very high in acid, and olive oil I just don't think is healthy for a hamster. So I thought about it for a while. I am a woodworker, so I like to dabble around in DIY and woodworking. And we recently, my wife and I, we covered our countertops in our kitchen with something called hobby board or hobby wood. And that's what I'm holding in my hand here. This is the oak version. It's a hardwood, and it's 1/4 inch thick. It's about 3.5 inches high, and it comes in various lengths. And this one is 2 feet long. They also sell them in 4-foot long lengths, which is what I have right here. So you know, you have a little bit of flexibility. I would recommend buying the oak or any of the hardwoods. I would stay away from the pine and the cedar, because there's resin in pine and there's oils in cedar, which when ingested by a hamster could be harmful to them. So stick with the hardwood. I like the oak. It's clean looking. And it's unfinished. You want to make sure nothing is finished. You want to get unfinished bare wood. So my solution was, I found out the areas on the cage where my hamster was biting, and it was pretty obvious where those were. And what typically was right above where the plastic of the bottom of the cage, the 6 inches of plastic for the bedding, it's usually right above there where she would just start the biting of the rungs. So I found it particularly was in the back of the cage where she started doing this. So I started affixing this hobby wood to anywhere where she would be biting. And as it turned out, what she would start doing is then start biting the wood instead of biting the rungs of the metal of the cage. So I thought that was a great alternative to her biting on a metal cage, because that could lead to deformed teeth, it could lead to broken teeth, and it could you know, be difficult for them to eat if they had deformed teeth or broken teeth. So what I'd like to show you today, and I have an article on my website that also goes into pretty good detail. I'll leave that link in the description. So I'll go over today actually how I would affix this wood to the side of the cage. It's fairly simple to do, and let's go over that right now. So as you can see on the cage right over here, I've already affixed some of this hobby wood to the side of the cage, but I would do it from the inside, and that's what I'm going to do over here. So what you want to do is measure how much more you need to go from here to the end. So if I just took this piece, then you would have to cut it from there to the end. I've already done that with a piece of hobby wood. So here's a piece of wood which fits in this spot right here, from that end to the end of the cage on the inside. as I mentioned before, it's 3.5 inches high. I drilled two 3/16 inch drill bit holes into the wood. I marked a section where I want the holes to be, to line up with. So then I would take a zip tie, which you can find anywhere at any hardware store, probably at any, even a Walmart. So I'd simply take the wood and thread the zip tie, which is about 6 to 8 inches long, right through the wood and snake it through the other hole. And so now it's sticking out like that. And then I would take the wood from the inside and insert the piece of wood, and now we have the zip tie, and I can just run the zip tie like this to secure it. I just pull and tighten it, and now you have the wood affixed to the inside of the cage. Now if she comes over here and wants to start biting the cage, the rungs of the cage, then she'll actually start biting on the wood, which is what, and I'll show you that on the other side of the cage. And then when you're done with that, you can just cut off the ends. I haven't done it here yet. I just left that on for display purposes. Just cut that with a scissors. So that's all there is to it. Now I'd like to show you a section of the cage on the other side where she's already bitten through the oak. So what's really cool about it is that she actually starts biting on the oak, and even though she gets through to the cage, she'll still continue to bite on the oak because she prefers that over the cage. So let me show you that real quick. So here's a section of the cage where she actually bit through all the way down to the bottom here into the oak, and she just kept biting on the oak, and the same up here and the same over on this side. And so she preferred the oak over the metal cage, and the oak was much better for her teeth. So that was my solution for the bar biting that she did on a regular basis, especially at night. And if we look in the cage, you can see that I have that in the back as well. She was biting there originally, but then she just stopped biting the cage and moved on to that section over there, which you can see right there. And she just started biting on that, and she just kept biting on the wood. And so she preferred the wood over the metal. And you can see right there, I built a shelf for her with hobby wood on the top, and she was actually biting the top of that shelf as well, the wood on the shelf. So that's how I resolved the issue of bar biting with my hamster, my Syrian hamster Cootie. So I hope you will try to incorporate this into your cage, metal cage, and I hope it works for you. Let me know if it does. I'd appreciate that in the comments. So I hope this solution that I came up with, maybe you can implement in your own metal cage for your hamster. Remember, you can buy this hobby board or hobby wood at any big box store like a Home Depot, a Lowe's. If you know the size you're going to have to cut out, sometimes at these, well, I know at these big box stores they have cutting stations so you can cut the wood when you buy it. If you don't have a drill, maybe you have a parent or a friend that could help you drill a couple of holes or however many holes you need. Or if you prefer to cut the wood at home, maybe you have a friend, or maybe you have your own saw. You can use a handsaw, you can use a bandsaw, you can use a chop saw, you can use a jigsaw, but a handsaw will work fine. So it doesn't require a lot of tools, but I think the bang for your buck is pretty good. This hobby wood isn't that expensive. I think you can get a, like a 3-foot long piece for like $7 or something like that. So it shouldn't be too expensive for you to implement this solution. So I'd appreciate it if you do think this particular video was informative, then please like the video. And I appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And once again, there will be a link in the description, not only for links to buying hobby wood at a Home Depot or a Lowe's, but there'll also be a link to an article I wrote on my website. The website is the same as the YouTube channel. It's called Totally Unique Life. And it'll give you even more details than this video did on how you would go about implementing this solution. So until next time, thanks a lot.